hours do you have to spend doom scrolling before you create your digital reflection? That's the question that you're being asked right now, actually. Because if you're seeing this video, you're almost assuredly been allowing yourself to just go down rabbit holes. And actually, these are like pits in the collective consciousness that there's a lot of uncertainty about. You're avoiding something. And ultimately, what you're going to see is that whatever someone puts out in this digital reflection, they're going to receive more of that in their experience, because the Black Mirror is far older than just smartphones and your Netflix series. The Black Mirror is actually the force of the collective unconsciousness, or a way of representing that in Mesoamerican thought for thousands of years. So now, when we're all carrying around these Black Mirrors, energetically, these are portals to the collective unconsciousness. And so what actually causes people to want to go and into the collective unconsciousness instead of going and living as the victorious main character of their own life? That's honestly one of the most important questions for us as a society, and for you individually, and all of us personally. Because imagine if the whole world for 1 week put down their cell phones, put down all of the information they were consuming, just ask themselves, how can I create the world and the life that I want to live in right now? And sustain that effort. Imagine what would happen, really. And so the world would change, for sure. You would see progression. You would see a whole new world in just 1 week. But the thing is that 1 week of effort that you could be putting in, or the whole world could be putting in, but really it's between you and me. And it's between you and yourself, really. Because you have to ask yourself, how much am I going to go and consume the dreams of others before I go and actually dream my own dream? Because that's what everyone's being tasked in realizing with this ascension, with this convergence of the previously spiritual, but now gathering in density and materializing planes of digital technology and our own perception of reality. Because it's clear, if you're looking at like the way the world is unfolding, between the president, between just people changing their lives on the internet, between AI, all of these factors are actually representations of subtle energies that people are downloading into themselves and then seeing reflected into the world. And so it's only going to get faster and faster for a dream to materialize out of thin air. You had an app idea, you throw it up in the world in seconds. Literally, you go and make one prompt, you could materialize a whole vector of intention that you could follow. And that's always been the case, but now the freedom that we have as beings that are holding this portal to the collective unconsciousness, because something changes, right? When you actually decide that you're going to go and stop consuming the world's dreams, stop consuming information that isn't even really relevant to you, it's just satisfying some part of your mind to distract you from actually like this higher vibration, this higher cycle, that part of you is just getting fed other people's dreams. And that's not the path to live actually your dreams. That's what I think every person that's really going to be aligned with really the 5D success is going to be experiencing, is realizing that, like, yes, we have these portals as just in our pockets, and it's important to be conscious in how we use them. You know, I'm not going to say that I know much about Atlantis, but it's said, right, that they were destroyed by the misuse of portals. And now I think we're going to be facing something very similar, or at least we are personally, right? Is, are we going to destroy ourselves through the misuse of portals? Through being able to see a vision of whatever you want. Somebody pranking old ladies by doing prank calls. You can see that, you know, you can see whatever type of body you want on the internet. You can see whatever type of business you want on the internet, whatever location. But there's a real difference between going and seeing a dream versus actually experiencing it. But the reason that you've been scrolling and that you've been just consuming other people's dreams is because you're not seeing the path, or you're not choosing to focus on the reality where you're living yours. Because if you knew you were living your best life, then how much time would you be spending doom scrolling? Like, you know those stories when people go and they find out they only have like a so short amount of time to live, and they're like, wow, they change their whole life around and they do something different. It's like, how many of us are just waiting for that moment, really, when we're on these apps? That's how I see it. And that's why it's so important to know what you want to see in this portal. Because it's said that if you're just letting your unconscious control itself, you know what's happening to you? You're dying. You're letting your own vitality, your own intention of why are you even here, leave you to just see your own nonsense, to see the world's nonsense. Because if you're consuming it, you're one and the same. You can't really exist in a super high vibration if you're scrolling. And how much are you doing it? But there's this real reality where as you escape your own life through scrolling, you also see the higher possibility, or you see at least a possibility of life. Like, because I spent a lot of time on the internet, now I have a business that's made tens of thousands of dollars. And it all started from scrolling, from wanting to escape. So the more you try to escape, the more you're going to see yourself, the more you're going to get ideas. And so if you're using these apps, the key really is letting that intention of creation, when you get that spark of inspiration, actually allowing that to compound, to actually go into the physical and result in a change. Record a video, post a video, go and build your app. But if you're just going and consuming, really you're dying. If you allow yourself to be inspired by the unconscious, it's really about making spirals for yourself. It's about going and making a new way for you to interact with everything that's around you that's going to uplift you. It's going to get you that progression. Because otherwise you're just really waiting for something external, and that's always waiting to die. That's why it's super important that if you haven't already, you learn the skill of being able to communicate on camera. You learn the skill of being able to show your gifts on camera, to be able to show yourself in the light that you want to be seen. Because that's how, if you're paying attention, if you're seeing everything, that a perception becomes reality. That's why they do so much predictive programming. That's why people, I saw a influencer while I was scrolling the other day, and he was saying, pretending to be a famous food reviewer until, for free food or something. And now, very quickly from doing that, he became an actual famous food reviewer because it got a lot of followers. It really is that simple. And it's not about faking it until you make it. It's really about being to become. That's the real key, is you just choose who am I in this moment. It's always been a mask, the version of yourself that's scared to take action, the version of yourself that's scared of other people, the version of yourself that is, maybe feeling like you can't do it and you're an imposter. All that's just a mask, because really you are the consciousness of the creator of this universe, and you are dreaming yourself right now. You dreamt yourself in this mask. And so you can take it off and wear another one. You can take it off and really be yourself. But really what it is that you can choose to do is, instead of going and allowing this portal to steal all of your energy through just consuming the dreams of others, that you actually allow yourself to create, to see the dream of who do you want to be, and then be that person. Literally record it happening. And then through that, you are uploading your DNA to this new structure that's being birthed, to whatever this real interplay and interconnection and merging of the digital and physical, and also somewhat spiritual worlds. Like, the spiritual worlds are still there, but this digital ecosystem is a reflection of how spiritual worlds exist. Now it's really clear, if you want to summon an entity, now all you have to do is go to ChatGPT and tell it to act in a certain way. Boom, there's a thought pattern. And we could always do this, but now it's just being reflected. So now take your ability, instead of having to wait several lifetimes maybe to go and be able to be reflected as like the king or the queen or whatever it is that you ultimately want to be and manifest in this world, instead of having to wait lifetimes to get in the right situation so that could happen, now it's just about choosing. It's about seeing yourself. Because ultimately, in this now moment, the power of dreams and the power of intention to really create reality is only growing stronger. So it's really important that you utilize this moment to, rather than succumb to the intention of others to get lost in their dreams, to really begin dreaming your own. And if you are going to choose to use this technology, which I imagine the vast majority of you will, is allow yourself to use it in a way where, rather than making a consumption of other people's thoughts, opinions, beliefs, stories, that you begin to go and actually contribute your own DNA, your own beliefs, your own knowledge, your own gifts, your own reality, and contribute that to the consciousness that the internet is facilitating. Because in that, what happens is that you can choose, how do you want the world to see you? And you begin to go and choose, how do you want to see you? And that interplay right there is literally what has allowed me to earn tens of thousands of dollars, to travel the world, to connect with some of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life, because I decided that I wanted the world to show me more of myself. And it's always going to do that. But then you can magnify the ability to see yourself in others. And so the time really is now. There's only a couple years before AI is going to probably make a ton of different like fake people. And if you do want to really be a part of the people that are going to be able to create the world they want to see using the attention of the world, create that self-sustaining feedback loop that can sustain a business, can sustain a movement, can sustain an art practice, can sustain whatever it is that you want to create, then allow yourself to start doing it. Don't think that, let me wait until tomorrow, because really you have to decide that your intention of the way that you use this device is going to change, and then let it be. So if you need help with that, one, you can allow yourself to do it. And two, if you would like my help to show you the systems that I've used to grow hundreds of thousands of followers now and tens of thousands of dollars, then I'll put a link below where you can apply to work with me. Aloha.